Most service business owners are not building a business. They are running a revenue replacement machine. See, a customer leaves, you chase another one. A job ends, you hunt for the next one. And somehow, even at 1 million, 2 million, or $3 million in revenue, you are still answering messages at night, still fixing customer issues yourself, and still wondering why the business needs you for everything. That is not growth. That is replacement. If you have to keep replacing customers, you do not own a growth business. You own a treadmill. You sell, you serve, they leave, you start over. And eventually you start asking, how do I build a business that keeps customers without me personally rescuing every customer relationship? And that is what this video solves. I'm Buck, founder of the Profit Manual. I help service business owners stuck in the weeds build simple systems that grow the business without everything depending on them. And today, I want to show you a framework that helped me scale myself out and sell my 7-figure service business. I call it the Keep Growing System. It has 4 parts. Clarify, checking it. Anticipate, guide. Because the goal is not just to keep customers. The goal is to stop rebuilding the same revenue every month. And here's where most owners actually get this wrong. See, we were taught to believe that customer retention means being nicer, better service, better relationships, more personal touch. And don't get me wrong, those things matter, but they are not enough. Because if keeping customers depends on you remembering to do these things, you're eventually going to forget. See, it's not because you're lazy. It's because you're full. Your calendar is full. Your phone is full. Your team needs you. Customers need you. Payroll needs you. Sales needs you. And then you ask AI on what to do, and it says, you should follow up with past customers more. Of course we should. But when? I mean, our system we do this at 9:30 at night after the kids go to bed? And that is why retention alone cannot depend on good intentions. See, good intentions do not scale, but systems do. So let's build the system. Part 1, clarify. A customer finishes a call with your team and thinks everything is handled. 3 days later, they're confused, nobody's followed up, and now they're wondering if they hired the wrong company. See, that's when trust actually starts to break the relationship. And it's not because the work was bad, but the next step was actually unclear. And confused customers, they're the ones that leave. And most service businesses create confusion, and we don't even know it because the customer does not know exactly what happens next. They don't know who is supposed to call them. They don't know when the job starts. They don't know what is included. They don't know what decision they need to make right then and there. And that confused customers rarely say, hey, I'm confused. Instead, they delay, they disappear, they ghost you, they shop, and they ask someone else. So if your first job is to clarify the next step before the customer has to ask it, after every important customer conversation, your team should answer just 3 simple questions. What just happened? What happens next? And who owns it? That is it. Not a 40-page SOP you pull from ChatGPT, not a complicated software project, just one rule. No customer leaves an important conversation unclear about the next step. If you're a contractor, the home buyer knows what choices they need to make and by when. If you're a cleaning company, the customer knows what is included and when you are coming back. If you're an accounting firm, they know what documents you need and by when. See, clarity, that's what builds the trust, and it's what helps keep those customers coming back to you. But even this won't help customers stay unless you do all 4 parts together. Part 2, check-in. The job gets done, the invoice gets sent, and your team moves on to the next customer. But the customer, they're still deciding whether that experience made them want to come back. Do they want to refer you? Or quietly try someone else next time? See, the moment matters for you and your revenue, and also for them. Because customers do not only judge the work, they judge the experience around the work. So, when the work ends and communication kind of disappears, that silence creates doubt. And I'm not talking about random just checking messages here. But before the customer has to call and ask what is going on, and this is where many service businesses actually lose trust. See, the work gets done and the team moves on, but that customer is still forming their opinion. They're asking themselves, was this easy? Did they care? Did they follow through? Would I use them again? Would I refer them? So build a simple check-in rhythm. After the job is finished, someone follows up. After a problem is solved, someone confirms it was solved. And before a key date, someone reaches out and reminds of what is needed. And it's not because the owner remembered it, but there's a system that actually triggered it. And this is the simplest because it can just be a text, a voicemail, or you can actually call, but that's it. And once your business knows when to check in, part 3 is how you stop waiting for problems to actually turn into these emergencies. Now anticipate. One missed text delayed the entire house by 2 weeks. See, a contractor friend of mine thought his team had told the client they needed to pick out their countertops, but nobody actually relayed the message. The client, they left for vacation thinking the house was good moving forward. The team kept working until they hit the point where they could not go any further. No countertop selection. No next step. No clear owner of the actual communication. And when the client came back, they expected progress, and instead they walked into a house that was still far from finished. And that one missed conversation delayed the entire project by 2 weeks. And here's the worst part. To the contractor, it felt like a simple, just a communication miss. But to the client, it felt like broken trust. And that is how fires start. They're not all at once. It's just one missed update, one unclear next step. Just a simple, I thought someone else handled that. And the customer is sitting there thinking, I'm paying them. Why do I have to chase them? And then the owner gets pulled back in. The client's frustrated. The team is nervous. Are they going to lose the client? The schedule is completely blown. And the owner has to explain, apologize, fix, and rebuild the trust all over again. And then because the owner actually saved it, everybody thinks the system actually worked. It did not work. The owner, they're the person who worked. And that is the problem. Anticipate means your business stops waiting for frustration to become an emergency. See, it's before the customer asks, your system should already know, what decision does the customer need to make? What deadline could delay the job? What update would make them feel calm, collected, and understand? And what problem can we prevent before it lands on the owner's desk? So if you're a contractor, anticipate selections before they delay the project. If you're a home service business, I want you to anticipate seasonal needs before the customer calls someone else. If you're an accounting firm, anticipate missing documents before the deadline becomes panic. And then if you do maintenance like HVAC, I want you to anticipate the next service before the customer even forgets you exist. And the owner should not have to remember all of this, but the systems you use should at least surface it. Because when your business anticipates the next problem, the customer feels led instead of neglected. And that's when they stay with businesses. They stay with those that make them feel like someone is already thinking ahead and anticipating their needs. And in part 4, I'm going to show you how the hidden reason good customers still shop around, even after you did all the work right. Part 4 guide. Have you ever tried to pick accounting software and ended up more confused than when you started? Like QuickBooks, Xero, FreshBooks, Wave, NetSuite, Zoho. And then you started comparing features, and then pricing, and then integrations, and then reviews. And oh my goodness, then you go into Reddit threads. And 30 minutes later, you are frustrated, you're nervous, you're about to choose the wrong one, and somehow the safest decision actually feels like no decision at all. I'm just going to put it off to tomorrow. And that is what your customer feels when your team gives them too many options. They asked for your help, they hired you, but instead you decided to give them homework. And a customer asks, what should I do? And they say, your team goes, well, you could do this, or 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 you could do this. Now they have 5 decisions to make, no confidence, and the same problem they had before. And that is not service, my friend. That's decision dumping. And part 4, the keep growing system is guide. Guide means your team does not just give information. It doesn't give just choices and questions. It gives a clear recommendation. I learned this the hard way in my own business. There were times I thought I was being helpful by laying out every possible option and solution. But all I really did was make the client carry the decision and unsure themselves. And when the client has to carry that decision, what happened is they would slow down. They would overthink. They'd ask someone else. They'd compare the price. They would go quiet, and that would then delay projects. Or they would do nothing at all, and then nobody knew what was going on. But the fix is simple. We just started to say, based on your situation, here's what I would recommend. And then I would just explain the why. And see, that just creates confidence. See, customers are busy. They have their own work, their family, stress, and problems, and they're not hiring you because they want more homework. Heck, they don't even want any homework. They're hiring you because they want the problem solved. So just give them one clear recommendation. And then if needed, give two alternatives. But lead with the answer. And that is what experts do. And you are an expert in your business. You cannot always be the cheapest. You cannot always be the fastest, but you can be the clearest. And when your team makes the decisions easier, customers stop shopping for someone else who will. And so here's the shift. You stop making retention depend on you You stop making retention depend on your personality. And instead you turn it into a process your team can actually follow through with. So clarify the next step. Check in at the moments that actually matter, even after the project's completed. Anticipate the problem. Guide the customer with a clear recommendation, and that is how you keep trust after the sale. And then when you keep trust, you keep the revenue because customers come back. Then they refer, they complain less, and they need fewer rescue calls from you. And that means you are not constantly replacing customers just to stay in the same place. You're building revenue that actually compounds, and that is what changes an owner's life. Because every customer your system keeps is just one less customer you have to chase. It's one less quote you have to squeeze in. It's one less buyer that lands on your phone at 5 o'clock on a Friday. And that's one less night catching up after the kids go to bed. And this is how you grow without staying trapped in the day-to-day. It's by building a business that serves consistently without you being involved in every single aspect. So start with the first step this week. After every important customer conversation, make sure your team answers those three questions. What just happened? What happens next? And who is responsible? Who owns it? And that one habit will expose where your retention system is broken. And if you want more simple systems that help service business owners grow revenue, save time, and stop being the bottleneck, go ahead and hit subscribe. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to fix one of the biggest reasons owners stay stuck in the weeds that could be costing you thousands of dollars every year.